Any problems with any injuries after last night, or anybody coming back at the weekend that we should know about?
Cameron Archer will be definitely involved at the weekend, so it's good news on that front. He's been out for quite a while, so a good one to have back amongst the group.
In terms of morale, spirit, the feeling amongst the group, I know they've been in today for recovery. How are you keeping spirits and morale up after another defeat?
Well, that's our job, another defeat, but I think in terms of who we were playing as well, I think you can take something from the game. And I said before, the narrative for everybody, even doing pre-game interviews, and the sort of the attitude and the feel as if we were just there for the game to make the numbers up, which you can understand in a way in terms of top versus bottom, the form that Liverpool are in, and obviously our season as it's sort of developed. So I get that. I'm not being critical of that.
Are you using that as motivation, maybe?
We've got enough motivation inside our own group. You can use certain things from time to time, and we have done in the past. But I think there's enough motivation as well. So belief, it was Liverpool. We're not in it to just turn up and roll over. We believe that we could get a result. I think you have to. There's no point in getting on the bus if you don't think you can get something from the game. We understood the sort of expectancy of the game and how the game would possibly pan out, which it did. But there's a lot of good things from our point of view, and Liverpool have been doing that to better teams than us right the way through the season and for a long time. So that doesn't make it any easier to deal with, because I think, like I've always said, to get to this stage of your career, whether you're a manager or you're a player, you have to have an incredible winning mentality. Our careers are not being given to us. We've had to do a lot of things right to get to this stage of our careers and reach the levels that we're all at. So I don't want them to be jumping through hoops, but we can take something from the game. Good shape defensively. Missed a couple of chances, created a couple of chances as well, and made it difficult for an outstanding world team, let alone a Premier League team.
And I guess you and the coaching staff are helping to motivate them and keep the mood up. Who motivates you?
I've had to do it since I was a 16-year-old lad, Pete. So through highs and lows. So there's people around, family and the coaching staff. We stick together. We understand what the game's all about. I've got a very experienced coaching staff and a very talented one as well. So we work closely together. So listen, it's not easy. We'd rather be winning games, and we have won a lot of games over the past 6 or 7 years here at this football club. So it's not easy for myself, especially the connections I've got with the football club. But it's not been easy for everybody. Board members, staff, ticket office. Punters going into the ticket office, and obviously their mood isn't great. And most importantly, the supporters who are the major stakeholder in the club.
Is that why it's so important for these final 8 games? You've just got to go for it and put everything into it and try and get results.
We tried to get results right the way through. I don't think there's been an attitude change. I think sometimes, ability through opposition and opposition strengths, at times overcomes anything you've got. And sometimes it looks as if you're not trying or you don't care. I certainly don't believe that is the case. There'll possibly be there'll be a few moments this season where the team should have done better, and maybe have felt sorry for themselves right through those sort of periods. But it's tough, as we know. The Premier League is ruthless, relentless. It absolutely kills you when you're not on it, and you have to be on it. And obviously it's been an incredibly difficult season. So we have, everything to play for in the last 8 games. We've got a responsibility first and foremost to our supporters to give our best in every game. And what I have seen in the last 3 games has certainly been a reaction to a really disappointing night at home to Arsenal. So we need to show those qualities going forward.
And how do you deal with this problem you got towards the end of the game that you referred to last night about maybe just running out of steam? Because look at Chelsea last night; they were still going, in added time and scored 2 really late goals to win that game. How do you deal with that?
I think when you look at Chelsea and you look at Sheffield United and you look at the gulf and the gap, and I'm not being critical of anything regarding anything that's happened at Sheffield United, but I think when you look and you look at the details, I think you'll find the answer, Pete.
But in terms of fitness and that ability to keep going,
yeah, I mean, listen, it's difficult because I don't believe we're at the levels where we should be. I'll be honest with you. It has been our Achilles heel right the way through the season. Late goals, teams coming on strong. There's a couple of things involved in that. The amount of injuries that we've had has certainly been a factor in that. It was obviously a difficult start to the season because of the timings of everything and the club, being put in a difficult position from that point of view, and then chasing as well, which is another story really. But to change it midway through the season is really difficult, especially when you're in a 3-game week, and we've had a few of those, and especially when the intensity of the Premier League is what it is. And I've said last night, and I've said for a long time, there's 4 different aspects of the game. From a technical and tactical point of view, from a mentality point of view, you've got to be right up there because of the challenges ahead. But physically, it's by far and away, it blinds every other league in the world, in my opinion. I think the only thing that gets closest to it is the Bundesliga, and then I think the Championship from an intensity point of view is 3rd or 4th in world football. So I think that shows what you need, and it has been our Achilles heel right the way through the season. We're not making tactical substitutions. We're not bringing on experienced players that can change the game. We're having to make physical substitutions, which is really difficult. So, we've just got to try and get through these last 8 games. We're getting players back, which is good, but we're having to, because it's like a sort of just a circle that keeps revolving and keeps going, because quite easily I could have left McAtee on the pitch, could have left Ben Diaz on the pitch for another 10, 15, 20 minutes. I'm not sure that they'll be available for Sunday, and so this is the way we've got to try and plot our way through this sort of period, and we're having to plot our way through this period because most certainly them boys wouldn't have been available for Sunday, and I've got to take that into consideration as well.
And I guess bottom line is as well, you've got to stop conceding goals, which is easier said than done.
It is. We did our best yesterday to do that. Disappointing, obviously, the first goal, which was a mistake, and to take Liverpool deep means that we've got a structure and an attitude to our play. So that should be looked at in favourable light, because the players, their attitude towards defending, their attitude towards keeping the ball out of the back of the net, it hasn't been good enough, for long periods of the season. But we're showing signs. As I said, now we're really getting undone in the last 10 or 15 minutes of games, and certainly from that to take Liverpool deep, we needed to do that for our own confidence and belief, and to get something from the game. And obviously it's listen, we had a slice of luck with our goal, really well constructed goal in my opinion, but we had a slice of luck in terms of it's come off Bradley, but they've had a little bit of luck in terms of their goals won, and even though there's been a lot of credit given to Nunes in terms of chasing down, but it's a mistake on our point of view. And the third one, obviously, it's a clearance, took a deflection and fell to McAllister. Still got to put it in the top corner, which he has done. And these are the things that you're up against. So you have to be error free, and we weren't. We have to be clinical when we have that opportunity, and we weren't at times, because with certain other opportunities we had to score. But we just got to keep going, Pete, and everything's still to play for, and look to produce another front foot positive performance on Sunday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Just kind of to check, because I know he played on a bit afterwards, but Harmer had a bit of a something, didn't he? How is he today?
Yeah, he's getting checked over, Andy. So yeah, hopefully he'll be okay. Getting Cameron back is good news and a positive one from our point of view. But we don't want to get one back and lose one, so hopefully that won't be the case.
Because with Archer, it's that pace and the speed in which you can get somebody up a team. Well, obviously Sheffield United up the pitch.
Well, yeah. Listen, we understand even on Sunday that Chelsea will have the ball and have possession. So counter structure and playing off the counter is key. Getting to first base again, which I've said, which we did against Fulham, and we did really against Liverpool. You know, we weren't out the game, which we're delighted about. And we went deep against Liverpool, and obviously everybody knows the situation against Fulham. But yeah, you know, we can't afford these players really to be. Listen, you can have one or two injuries, but I think I'm going over old ground again. You know, you really can't. You know, big actors, big players that you've signed for the season to do a job for you. You know, Cam has been a major signing for Sheffield United, and to not have him available for I think it's going on about 6 weeks now is been a big blow. So to get him back, as you said, great that we have somebody that can get us up the pitch and can score us a goal and hopefully, you know, manage the game, and when he comes onto the pitch will give us that impact and a positive one.
How much do you feel that the performance at Anfield showed that the structure and the building blocks are in place defensively, that play like that, I suppose, later on the season points will come?
Yeah, I do believe we will. We showed some good signs in terms of our structure and most importantly our attitude to defending. You know, Aldgate, Robinson and Anel, you know, they're up against world class performers. You know, Austin's up against Salah, so you know he's had 2 great games against him over the period. So you know that we have to produce these types of performances. We have to give ourselves a platform to go and get a result. So defensively, the structure was good from back to front, and you know in there, you know, unit work and most importantly, as I said, attitude to defending. And when you know they do get in or they do breach that sort of defence or that back line, the goalkeeper has to make saves. And what I will say, you know, you can't get away from the fact that the goalkeeper made a mistake last night. He understands that, but I thought his reaction was pretty good. He didn't go under, nice and calm, and made some important saves when he needed to.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. I mean, how much does the performance, well, perhaps after the mistake, show that he's kind of growing into his surroundings, if you like, I suppose, after? Yeah,
listen, he hasn't played a lot of football. You don't play for or be involved in a major top European club, and be involved in a major top European national side, if you haven't got anything about you mentally and from a quality point of view. So I think there's going to be more to come from the goalkeeper. So but as you talked about there, you know, I think goalkeepers are going to make mistakes, and it's their attitude to when they do make a mistake that sort of defines you. So hopefully he'll not make any mistakes. He's not intending to. He made a poor decision, but I thought his attitude and his performance after that was pretty solid.
I realise my learned colleague might give you a better impression than I ever could, but which Chelsea are you preparing for this weekend? The amazing one or the other one?
We'll prepare for the amazing one. I think that's the best way going about it. And I should imagine seeing the manager's reaction last night, he must probably be as frustrated as anybody regarding the consistency. But I think I looked at the league table today. You know, they're still in amongst it, a European shout, and still you look at the amazing squad strength and quality that they possess, and what they've brought in and what they've added to as well. So, you know, people can talk about them not being at their best and being inconsistent, but they still can hurt you. And if they say yes, then they're going to be a difficult team to hold. But we're hopeful that we can take a lot from these last 3 games and take a lot from especially our last home performance, and you know, and hopefully get something from the game. And if we do, then yeah, again we're going to have to do a lot of things right against the A-star team that we will prepare for.
So, thank you.
No problem.
Hi, Chris. In terms of Oliver Arblaster, 90 minutes at Anfield yesterday. How good is he? How good is he going to be? And how excited are you to have somebody like him to call upon, hopefully for many years to come?
Yeah, no crystal ball. So, but he's in a good place at the moment. He's got good people around him in terms of coaches and managers. I think you can understand what our attitude to him will be like. Keeping the feet on the ground, but he's a level-headed Sheffield boy, so he won't get carried away with himself. And if he does, I think there's somebody not too far away that might jump all over him if he does. But yeah, listen, he's had a great start to his career. There's a lot of football in front of him this season. There's a lot of football in front of him in his career. There'll be a lot of things that dictate and determine his pathway, but he's got off to a good start. He's done a lot of things right, and we're delighted for him. He's a popular boy, and he's a talented boy, and the academy can take great credit for the work that they've done with him and the coaches. And now it's up to us to help him and develop him, and hopefully he goes on to have a successful career.
And in terms of, I want to look crystal ballish a little bit. Forget about the 8 games that are left. But is there an excitement for you and the coaching staff as to what the rebuild, reshape, whatever you want to call it, that happens in the summer? Because there's a real opportunity for those players to be successful again and get this club back to where you want it to be.
Yeah, I think it's been said about my attitude towards it. I'm really excited, and people possibly think, how can you be excited? You're bottom of the division. It's a painful time for everybody, and we're not enjoying it. We understand that, but you know, there's life after this season. Whatever happens, whether we get the results that we need to stay in a division or we don't, we find ourselves in another division. The football club will always be here. We'll still keep producing players, and we'll still keep producing young quality players like the likes of Blaster, the likes of Brooks, and yeah, whatever is a rebuild, because there's going to be a rebuild in both ways, re-signing or whatever. There's so much to look forward to at this football club, and you know, I'm excited to be part of that, be part of that medium term look. We've all got to get it right. There's a lot of hard work going on behind the scenes now, and a lot of, you know, I've had to reflect, and I've had to, you know, review, and there's certain aspects that I'd like to change going forward, which with the backing of the board that will I believe put us in a better place, whether we're in the Premier League or whether we find ourselves in the Championship. And there's still a lot to play for the players, and there's still a lot to look forward to from the supporters. We've still got some great games ahead of us. I thought the support and the backing that we had yesterday, yet again, was amazing. It was against Bournemouth. We've just got thumped 6 against Arsenal, and they're down there making that long trip to Bournemouth. The attitude of the supporters against Fulham, as I've said it would be from 3 o'clock, was brilliant, and gave the team a huge lift and boost. And even the support last night was great, knowing they're going into the Lions' Den. They're going into the one of the top teams in Europe, and the position that they were in, and who would have thought it in terms of the backing that they gave us. They were really vocal, and I've said to the players, don't underestimate, and said to the supporters vice versa, what your attitude towards the game gives them, and from their point of view, what their attitude towards the players gives the players.
And on Sunday, different circumstances, but Maurizio Pochettino has had a difficult season. What have you made of what he's done, what he's trying to do? And, you know, it's the age-old question that Andy said. Are you going to see that Chelsea or the Chelsea that turned up last night?
Well, first of all, he's a top manager. His record is there for everybody to see, in my opinion. He's a builder of teams, what he did at Tottenham. I'm sure he's trying to replicate at Chelsea. You don't get the PSG job if you're a mug, and he's no mug. He's a top manager, top guy, but as we all are after, is that time to make that build. And I totally understand it, especially at the elite clubs. You don't get as much time as you want, and opinion and views on your team are instant, and you can't really afford to make mistakes. But he understands that more than anybody, and that's what comes with being a manager, like I said, of the elite club. And obviously Chelsea, in terms of what they've spent and what they've achieved over the last sort of 10 or 15 years, is an elite club.